Hello, everybody, and welcome to Noel the Red Devil. We are here to talk about Harry Maguire. Is the deal off or has it stalled? There seems to be mixed reports. Fabrizio Romano is reporting that the deal has completely collapsed because, get this, folks, Harry Maguire thinks he's special. Harry Maguire thinks he's different to any other player out there that agrees to go to a different club but wants to be compensated by us to go to West Ham. Now, some Man United fans are saying they should just pay it and get it done and over with. But what you don't realise is if we pay Harry Maguire off and then we get the fee that we get off West Ham, right, because we've paid him off, that's less money. And we're trying to bring in money to bring in potentially other players. So, Harry Maguire and Dean Henderson were on the bench for a game against Wolves. And I saw something that really irritated me. Now, it could be nothing, but we do know that those two, along with a couple of others in the club under Jose Mourinho's reign, were leaking a lot of shit to the press, right? Now, him and Dean Henderson seem to be having a bit of a giddy conversation and laughing and smirking with each other, right? Because Dean Henderson's deal apparently is collapsed or it's going nowhere. So these two players are literally hijacking our club right now, but especially Harry Maguire. But what's so startling about Harry Maguire is that Harry Maguire is trying to get a payoff off us, even though he's agreed to go to West Ham. Now, other reports are saying that there was no deal in place with West Ham. And I think that's just his people, his PR people putting it out. He did agree to sign for West Ham. There was even talks that for West Ham to get him there, they said that they would even make him captain. Right? And then all of a sudden then, because he thinks he's entitled to money, right? Neymar has just gone to Saudi Arabia, right? And other players in middle of contracts have gone. Have they been looking for payoffs off the clubs that they were leaving? No, right? I've never heard of this before, right? I've heard of clubs paying players off in their last year of their contract if they want to move them on, right? We've heard that happens, but for Harry to think that he is owed money even though he's agreed to go to West Ham is absolutely ridiculous, and it sets an ugly precedent, by the way, because if he was to win this battle of wills against Manchester United, right, then other players that are leaving the club would expect compensation even if they've agreed to go to that other club. So it cannot happen. So this is what must happen, in my opinion. Eric Ten Hag has already said during the press conference that, you know, Harry is part of his plans if he's willing to fight. And he did say if Harry is not willing to fight, he needs to leave, right? So if he's refusing to leave and he's not willing to fight for his place, because remember, this is a player that has said he has nothing to prove. Listen, buddy, when you put on that Manchester United jersey, when you wear that badge right there, right, you prove yourself every single fucking time you're on the pitch, right? Every single time, right? Just because you got to Manchester United and you play well for England, you think you've made it, right? Every day, every time you put that jersey on, you got to prove yourself. The fact that you've come out and said that you don't need to prove yourself, right, is why we want you gone, right? We want players here that are willing to fight, right? That don't believe that they've nothing to prove. We want players here that have everything to prove. Everything to prove. Because only then, when they've got everything to prove and they're willing to fight for this jersey, can we get somewhere. So get out. Get out of the club, you loser. Right? You've done nothing but steal a living here. 40 million, I've told you've earned at your time at Manchester United. And that's without the endorsements. You've made 40 million off this club and you've been crap the whole time. And now You want us to pay you, even though you never stepped up to play when you wore this jersey. You want us to pay you now. Get the fucking boat. So, do you know what? If he's not going to live, he said that he's settled. Well, if he's not going to live, that's fine. Don't live. But the manager has to be ruthless now, right? If Ten Hag keeps him in around the squad after getting rid of Cristiano Ronaldo and being ruthless with other players, if he goes back on this Harry Maguire thing, I don't care if we're stuck for defenders. Harry Maguire should never play for Manchester United again or put that jersey on ever again. It's as simple as that. So I would dump him down to the reserves. And I'll leave him rotting there. And I think the manager should make it abundantly clear, and the club should make it abundantly clear that he has no future here, and the best thing for him to do is move on and to take the offer that West Ham have offered him. Right? Because he has no future here. Hey and all, mate, I'm off to work now, but I'll watch this back later. Have a good stream, LOL. This Maguire saga never ends. Of course it doesn't. I mean, he's got some nerve. He's got some nerve, in my opinion. The nerve of him to think that he's bigger than this club or he's nothing to prove. And the nerve that he has that he thinks he should be paid off. He's not getting paid off. And if the club pay him off, right, it's absolutely disgraceful. And I've heard fans say we should just, no, why should we pay him for being rubbish since we bought him? We bought him for 80 million. Leicester seeing us coming. Right? I remember even when we were in for him, I didn't want him. We were looking at Vertonghen as well, I think, at the time, the Spurs defender. Right? I would have took him over Harry Maguire any day of the week. I would have took him over Maguire any day of the week. Harry Maguire was never worth 80 million or nothing like it. Right? Leicester seeing us coming and they mugged us in broad daylight, but we allowed to be mugged. Right? I never wanted him at the club. Right? Never wanted him at the club. And yes, while he had some good games for United, the majority of his career at this club has been absolutely dire. He's been responsible for a lot of defeats as well. Okay? Even during pre-season, right? He nearly scored an own goal trying to head the ball out. Right? He did set up a goal and got a bit of a redemption. Did he set up? Yeah, I think he set up a goal and he got a bit of a redemption. But again, he's slow. He's like the mummy in defence. Right? He's not the defender that we need at this club. And look, I'd say this at this stage, you know, I don't want Johnny Evans to stay either. I don't think we should be giving contracts to players, but I would take Johnny Evans over Harry Maguire. That's how badly I rate Harry Maguire. And he's now 5th choice centre-back, if even that, right? And he's willing to just sit. He's got big wages as well. Listen, for anybody out there thinks that this is that defends Harry and thinks he's in the right, he's not in the right. No player in the history of the game that has agreed to go and sign for another club has ever gotten compensation, right? The only time that's ever happened is if a player doesn't really want to go. But you've seen it with AC Milan, or was it Inter Milan? They forced out Tonali and he went to Newcastle, right? So Harry is in no position here. He thinks he has all the power because he's PR, and his PR people are a disgrace. Listen, you just need to stop massaging his ego, right? Bottom line is that, yes, while for England, Harry Maguire does well, yeah, for Manchester United, he's never done it, right? So, you know, you need to stop massaging his ego and telling him he's a great defender. He's not a great defender. If you look at even the English team, they've got some of the best English talent in that team anyway. And Gareth Southgate plays defensively, right? He does. He plays defensively. He's got all of that talent and he plays defensively, right? So Harry gets plenty of cover, right? So his mistakes are not as obvious with England. But as soon as he plays for Manchester United, because we play a different way, we like to play on the front foot. We like to play on the front foot, I say. And Harry is just not good enough for that style of game. He's too slow. I even seen a Jordan preseason. He picked the ball up and he was taking an age to pass the ball. Lindelof was no different either, right? But Lindelof is slightly better because he's got more mobility. But that's about it, right? But the two of them are shit, right? We need to be bringing in defenders. And he's holding up any deals now that we wanted to do. Remember that, right? And this is not me trying to turn people on him, right? The audience in Dublin, right, and everywhere Harry was, booed him anyway, right? So he knows how Manchester United fans feel about him, right? And you see it on his social media as well. You know, he congratulated the Lionesses, and then all the comments are, when you leave and leave now. The fans are not going to let this go. And rightly so this time. You know, we criticise fans for going after players and being toxic and all of this. But in this case, yes, once it's not over the top, but I think fans have every right to let Harry Maguire know how they feel when they know that that deal was there, that contract was there with West Ham. This is him digging his heels in, and he's screwing us over now. Listen, our owners have already hindered their manager anyway with the budget that they have, right? But Harry now is preventing us from bringing in other players, because if he goes, that's more money for the manager, right? And we need more midfielders. We see now our midfield is very short. I was actually surprised at how bad we were against Wolves, because pre-season, I honestly believed we were brilliant, right? We had a couple of poor results. We had 3 poor results result-wise in a row. But the games, we played some lovely football. We controlled the game in large periods in most of those games. And I was expecting that against Wolves, but we were on the back foot the whole game. So we're lacking. When Eriksen came on, we got a bit more steady when Mason Mount came off. You know, you can't play Bruno and Mason Mount together. I don't care what anybody says. They can't play together. It's as simple as that. So the manager, this is where the manager comes in. It's up to him now to make sure that he figures out a way, or he's given the tools to go and get those players. And Harry Maguire now is holding that up. And apparently, I don't know what happened with the Dean Henderson one, but the manager did say he was in his plans. So maybe in that case, the manager has decided that he is going to keep Dean Henderson because Tom Heaton is injured. I would rather see Dean Henderson go, but if we're not in for another goalkeeper because the lad Zion Suzuki turned us down, and you know, I can't blame it. He's only a young kid, so he wants to get minutes under his belt. He may eventually sign for United one day, or he might go for a different goalkeeper. But we do know Ten Hag wanted the second goalkeeper. Now, with the striker already injured, you know, and us needing a couple of midfielders and another defender, you know, goalkeeper is less priority right now. So maybe that's why Dean Henderson is sticking around. I don't agree with it. Anybody does an interview for Talk Sport and talk shit about our club should be thrown out on their ear. You know, so, but that's not going to happen. But if he sticks around, fair enough. And if he's okay with playing number 2, because he hasn't been before, but if he is okay with playing second fiddle and he does a job for us, then all well and good. When it comes time then for the next transfer window, we might actually get decent offers for him. But we badly need another centre-back. Harry is holding that up. We need a couple of midfielders as well. Harry is holding up. Listen, we all said after the Glazers' money had run out for the manager, when they spent the money that they spent, that the outs were going to determine how good or bad their season was actually going to be. Right? And just bear with me for a minute. But the thing about the Harry Maguire sale, it was kind of going to open the floodgates for us. And then, you know, Donny was rumored to be gone. All the deals, all the outs that were talked about and rumored about, right? All of a sudden, they've all gone quiet. Even the talk of Donny van der Beek, it looks like the club that was in for him might be looking at other targets now and stuff like that. McTominay, apparently the manager wants to keep him, but if they get what they want for McTominay, which is 45 million, they'll sell him. Right? So all the deals that we were hoping that were going to go out the door to help the manager bring in those extra few pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that we definitely do need now. I still do believe we'll have a good season, but that Eriksen, Mason Mount and Bruno don't work well. And someone suggested that Bruno come back and do a little bit of defensive work with Casemiro. That's not going to work, folks. It's not. We need another CDM. We need another central midfield player as well. Mason Mount is an attacking midfielder just like Bruno is. And you've got two attacking midfielders on the pitch. And you've got Casemiro, who's in his 30s now, like in that defensive midfield position. But what's happening is that Mount and Bruno are going too far forward and leaving Casemiro exposed. And everybody is like giving out about Casemiro. You just can't give out the Casemiro. Casemiro's getting no cover. Casemiro with Real Madrid, they had two CDMs. Right? They always had two CDMs. That's what we've always needed. Right? We've only got one in Casemiro. We always needed that second one. And we never got the second one. Right? We even gone for Frankie de Jong, and he's not a CDM. We were going for a central midfield player. We just didn't. And fair enough, I think we were looking at Caicedo and Lavia, and they CDMs. But they're gone now. I think both of them are going to go to Chelsea. They turned down Liverpool. So that's what we've needed. So I don't blame Casemiro. I'm not blaming Casemiro. And Casemiro takes a couple of games to warm up anyway as well. People are worried about his form and he looked wrecked nearly. Yeah, of course he did. It's the first game back. Pre-season is a completely different experience to when you play in the Premier League. And I always, even when Casemiro first came in, I remember Ten Hag putting him in slowly but surely. Right? Casemiro didn't hit the ground running either. He was steady in there, but he didn't hit the ground running. He wasn't absolutely amazing. But with him in there, that was that extra security. And the other players like Bruno and Rashford were able to go and do what they were able to do. So, I don't know what's going on at our club. But CDM for me and a centre-back and two strikers were the top priority this transfer window. And the goalkeeper. I'll throw that in as well. We did need a new goalkeeper. Even though I love David De Gea, we did. It was time for a new goalkeeper. But another CDM, that should have been the first signing of the season. And then we bring in Mason Mount. And we give him the number 7 jersey. And I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't know what everybody else is seeing in Mason Mount, because I've seen some people say he had a good performance against Wolves. I saw a player that was running around like a headless chicken and was tripping over the ball. And he got a few tackles in. Great. But we've got players in the team that can do that. We need goals. You can't play two attacking midfielders. It's as simple as that. We need another CDM. We need another central midfield player as well. And then we need a centre-back. That's what we should be looking at. But Harry Maguire now screwed that up. Dean Henderson's deal may not be going through. Is not going through. That screwed us up. Donny van der Beek, as I said, it looks like the club that was in for him are looking at other targets as well. So this could turn out like we were actually all sitting here saying, this transfer window could be potentially a 7 or an 8 out of 10 because we got a lot of outs. Because for us as Manchester United fans, it wasn't just the ins. We wanted to see which players we could get out. And there was a whole list of them put up for transfer. And then there was rumours that all of these clubs were coming, but now it's gone all quiet. So the only way that the manager now, if Harry refuses to go, it's screwed us up. Now that means the Glazers have two choices at their disposal. They either announce the sale and get it done and over with, or they have to break into that bank loan from the US bank. We do know that there was a reserve kitty there. Now, if they decide to enact that bank loan, then we're screwed, because we don't want to be doing that. We want them to be gone, to be quite honest with you. So we don't want them to be doing that unless it's agreed between the two, the buyer and the potential buyer, and the Glazers, that look, we'll spend the money on transfers now, and that's but I don't know how that works. But this Harry Maguire saga is going to derail our transfer window. And look, I already hated Harry Maguire. I'm not going to sit here, I praised him when he deserved to be praised, and I've criticised him when he deserves to be criticised. But there is no way that I could support this man in any capacity wearing this jersey. He has to go. He's no longer wanted. He's had the captaincy stripped off him, right? Luke Shaw played in defence ahead of him. Manager is telling him. Even the manager during the press conference for the Wolves game, he was asked about Harry Maguire. And he said, Harry has to be willing to fight for his place. And if he isn't willing to fight, well, then he must leave. Right? Harry thinks that he truly does believe, because of the people around him, that he doesn't have to prove that when he puts that badge on. When he puts this jersey on, he thinks he's earned this, right? No player has earned this, right? Every single time you put this on, you've got something to prove, right? To the manager, to us fans, every fucking time, right? Every time, right? You don't get a free pass because you signed a contract and now you're a United player and that's it. It's easy street now. Nothing to prove, as you've said. You've got everything to prove, right? You were our captain. No wonder we won nothing under you. Your attitude stinks. Absolutely stinks. You've nothing to prove. You've got everything to fucking prove. You put that badge on, you die for that badge, right? You're not willing to do that. You're a coward. You've taken 40 million since your contract. You've made 40 million out of this club, and you want to pay off to go to West Ham, even though you have agreed. And you have, because it was reported by everybody that you agreed. You agreed that contract and you were going to go. But then someone got in your ear and says, oh, hang on for a minute. We could see if we can get this money out, Manchester United, pay you off for leaving. It's never happened with any other player unless we wanted to get rid of a player, right? That was still 3 or 4 years in the contract. Pay them off just to get rid of them, right? But you've agreed to go to a club, right? Normally what happens is when you pay a player off, they've no club has come in. Like, for example, if we actually cancelled Anthony Martial's contract now, we'd have to pay him off. Right? Well, actually, not necessarily, because he's got a year left. But if we wanted him gone off the books, we'd pay him off, right? Because he's no club to go to, because no club will come in for Anthony Martial. He won't even pass a medical, for fuck's sake, right? He'll break down in a medical. Trust me. I mean, he was standing there clapping when Ten Hag was making his speech, and he did his hamstring, right? He's not passing no medical, right? So he's never going. He's going to be another Phil Jones. The only way you can get rid of Anthony Martial is by paying him off. Harry Maguire, we don't need to do that because he agreed to go to West Ham, right? And part of that deal was if he went to West Ham to sweeten the deal was he was going to be made captain, and apparently he's going to be offered 110 grand a week anyway. But because he makes what's it, 180, 100, or whatever it is, how much he makes, he thinks, oh, I'll just sit on my arse. It's grand. I'll just keep taking this money. You know, where's his integrity? Where's his self-respect? Right? If I was a Manchester United player, right, and I was in Harry Maguire's situation and I knew my time was up at the club, I'd leave. There's no point of being somewhere where you're not wanted. Right? But then his team come out with this, oh, we settled in Manchester. Well, get unfucking settled. Get unsettled and move to fucking West Ham and get your fucking bum ass out of our club. You've done nothing to justify wearing this fucking jersey. Nothing, right? You haven't even justified your price tag, right? And you think that you've proven yourself because you play for England. Because you play for England with all those players and Gareth Southgate plays defensive. And you get cover anyway, so it covers up your shiteness. Right? But when you play for Manchester United, we play a different way. We wanted to be on the front foot and you get exposed. Right? Harry Maguire can only play in the defensive team. So go to fucking West Ham because David Moyes is there. He's defensive. It'll suit you. Right? And then everybody could blow smoke up your ass and tell you how much of a great English defender you are. You're a bum. You'll always be a bum. You're not a great defender. You're an average defender that has got lucky in your career. And there's no way you should have been given a contract at Manchester United. But that's down to our owners and Ed Woodward, because he was here when that was done, right? Idiots like that gave you a contract and gave you the wages that you're on. And you think you're going to put your... Listen, the fans have already made it clear. And mark my words, this isn't going away. I don't normally agree with fans, you know, going after players. But in this case, as I said, once it's not over the top, but if fans want to let Harry Maguire know how they feel, I think they have every right to do so because we know that contract was there. Fabrizio Romano even reported on it. Another top-tier journalist reported on it, right? And his people are saying that there was never a deal in place. He's a lying piece of shit. He wants that payoff. Right? So he wants his cake and eat. He wants that payoff. He wants to be the first player that's accepted a contract off another team to get a payoff. Get the fucking boat and get out. And go to West Ham. If not, Eric Ten Hag has got to be ruthless here like he was with Ronaldo. And I will judge Eric Ten Hag on how he deals with this. But how he should deal with this is fucking him out of the first team squad completely. Right? Fucking him out. Throw him out. End of story. Don't have him around the players that you're going to have playing all season. Get him out. Right? That's the first thing. And make it clear. Right? Even if the club has to come out with say Harry Maguire is up for sale. Right? Make outfit to force it. We got to force it. Right? We're Manchester United. Right? The biggest fucking club in the world, apparently. So start acting like it. Right? Force this nutcase out. This bum. Right? Never deserved the captaincy. Never deserved the captaincy. Never deserved to wear this fucking jersey. He doesn't know what it means to be a Manchester United player. He doesn't. He doesn't understand that you've got to prove yourself every single time you put that jersey on. And then any criticism of him, it's everybody else's fault but his own. Right? He's one of the worst. Seriously, I've been supporting United since the Ron Atkinson era. Right? Near the end of the Ron Atkinson era, to be quite honest with you. I was there from the beginning when Sir Alex Ferguson came in. But let me tell you, right? I've seen players come and go in this club. I've seen players like Park Ji-sung and the Darren Fletchers of this world that a lot of fans out there would say is not world class and all of this. No, they weren't. You're absolutely right. They were not world class players, but you know what they were? right? There were players that any time they put this badge on, right, they gave it every fucking thing. They knew every time they got onto the fucking pitch, they had to prove themselves time and time again. And they fucking did. And that's why the legends of this club and always will be legends. They mightn't have been the greatest players like your Ronaldos and your Rooneys and your Cantonas and your Robsons and your fucking Charltons, right? But they gave fucking everything, their heart and soul, and they knew they had to prove themselves. But Harry, I don't need to prove that. I don't need to prove that. Me and me slaphead, we're fine. Just get out, right? Out of the club, leave. Nobody wants you here, right? You're like a bad smell that won't go away. Just go away. Leave Manchester United. Do the right thing for yourself anyway. Where's your self-pride and dignity anyway, right? If you know that Luke Shaw's playing ahead of you, that the manager would rather put Luke Shaw in the centre-back position while you're fit and on the bench, right? That should tell you everything that you need to know, right? But instead, you've chosen money, and there's nothing else here, right? This is what it is. You've chosen the money over your career, and you're absolutely pathetic. You're a pathetic man. You'll be known as the worst signing in Manchester United history, and it may not be the case, but you're certainly fucking up there in my eyes anyway. You are. I never wanted Harry Maguire, just like I never wanted Jadon Sancho either, but I hope that works out. Jadon is starting to show some signs, hopefully, because I'm just sick of these players, right, that come into this club and think they've nothing to prove, or they don't reach the potential that they should, right? Old Manchester United under Ferguson and David Gill and all of those others, right, would have been ruthless, right? End of story, you're out the door, right? One of the best defenders in the Premier League, we had Yap Stam. Ferguson had a fallout with him. Gone, right? That's how ruthless we were. We need to be ruthless here, right? Harry, yeah, I wouldn't even put him in the reserves, right? People say put him in the reserves. You can put him there, right? But why would you want to infect the reserves with his mentality, right? So you just fuck him out. You just throw him out. Go on, stay at home. We'll just keep paying you until you decide to move, because we're not giving you our big lump sum, right? You agreed to join West Ham, the fucking cheeky you, right? Fuck off. Sick of these bleeding con artists at our clubs, right? We deserve better, right? Us fans deserve better. Our manager deserves better, right? We finally have a great manager, right? And I fear he may walk away if our clubs keep pricking about and doing business the way they do business. Because I tell you something, this wouldn't be allowed to happen at Manchester City. This wouldn't even happen at Liverpool, right? And I hate to say that. It wouldn't even happen at Arsenal, because we've seen how ruthless Arteta is, right? So let's see, because our manager has already proven that he can be ruthless. But let's see now, will Erik ten Hag really be the manager that we all want him to be? Because in this situation, he should make it abundantly clear to Harry Maguire, you are not in my plan, slabhead, and you need to go. I'm sick of these players, right? And you know, there's other players that I could mention, whereas this is about Harry Maguire. But as I said, there is conflicting reports. So this is what, just to tell you, so this is what Fabrizio Romano had said. So no way. Right. This is just at the coming in. So this is breaking. This is an exclusive. But it doesn't say. Is this a parody account? Hold on. Okay, it's a troll. Okay. Right, forget about it. It's not real. I mean, Darren Bent and Talksport, and I don't like Darren Bent. Even Darren Bent says, if he sits on the bench all season, Southgate will say enough is enough. Darren Bent isn't a fan of Harry Maguire turning down a move to West Ham, right? But Fabrizio Romano said this: Harry Maguire's move to West Ham is now off. Harry respects West Ham, but there was never an agreement on personal terms, sources close to Maguire say. Harry remains settled at United, loves the club, and believes he will have plenty of opportunities to play. So that's what his team is putting out, right? But that is not what happened. Harry Maguire's people could say that there was never any deal in place. West Ham fan channels and supporters were talking about Harry Maguire coming. United fan channels and accounts and the media connected to those clubs were reporting that Harry Maguire was going to West Ham. So Harry Maguire's people could say what the fuck they want, right? Bottom line is that this man here is a greedy fucking so-and-so, right? And he is stopping us now, right? And this is the reality, folks. The money that we were getting for him was going to help our manager to bring in maybe Amrabat. Maybe the Amrabat deal will still be done, but he wanted to bring in another centre-back. That's been the talk all fucking transfer window, to bring in another centre-back. If Harry Maguire doesn't go, he's preventing us from bringing in a better centre-back than him. Right? So, I mean, just looking at the fan reaction, and it's not looking good. Look, Harry Maguire, match days is going to be built. He's going to get stick. He's going to get stick on social media. You know, other football players, ex-football players, are coming out and saying they think it's a bad idea, him staying. And yeah, he's willing to sit on the bench because he thinks, do you know what needs to happen? But it won't happen, right? What needs to happen, the wake-up call for Harry Maguire, is that Gareth Southgate comes out and makes a statement that players have to be playing to get into his squad. Now, we know he'll play players that don't even play. That's the problem. But if Southgate was to change the way he did things and said that he wants players that have been playing regular football and are fit, that will force Harry Maguire, in my opinion. And the England manager usually does, when it comes to English players like this, the England manager, they don't normally get involved as such, but they would give their opinion on it. I'm surprised people haven't asked Gareth Southgate what his opinion is on the Harry Maguire saga, considering that Harry Maguire is a very important player for England. Like, why the media haven't turned to Gareth Southgate? Because he could force the issue, or he could help Harry make the right decision here. And the right decision is to leave Manchester United. But we could force people out like Ronaldo, and someone just made the point there, but we can't force Harry Maguire out. Pretty much. But that's the ownership, right? That's the people they have in charge. Look, Manchester United will never be Manchester United until the Glazers are gone, right? This is Glazers Manchester United. And under Glazers Manchester United, everything takes an age. Decisions, transfers, forcing players out. I mean, they were very quick to make the decision on Ronaldo. I was actually surprised that they made the decision quick on Ronaldo. And you know what? I kind of gave them a bit of praise. I said, for once, they actually made a decision fast. But again, they reverted back to their stupidity. Again, we don't know Mason Greenwood's future. That should have been sorted out months ago. They announced the sale in November, last November. We're still here. Nothing surprises me. Nothing surprises me. Until the Glazers are gone, we're not Manchester United. We're the Glazers, Manchester United, right? And until they're gone, that's the way we'll be looked at. You know, people won't take us seriously. You know, and you're seeing it. You know, penalty decision didn't go Wolves' way, but yet we should have had a penalty in the same game, and there were a couple of fouls against our players, but nothing's brought up about it. But Onana comes out, two Wolves defenders like hit each other, and then he comes out and tries to punch the ball. Fair enough, he gets to defend, but they came together originally before Nana came anywhere near them. But yeah, what's been all the talk? United, that penalty, and even the refs have been dropped. Like, disgraceful. Like, there was loads of decisions even last season that we didn't get. Players got injured and injured for months because of bad tackles and injuries and all of that, and no, nothing was done. But yeah, anytime a United player does that's considered, it's big news. Fuck off. Anyway, we'll say, as I said, Harry did congratulate the Lionesses there because they got through to their World Cup, whatever it was. I'm not even watching the Women's World Cup. No interest now. I did have interest in the last one, but I'm just, that waned, because women's football is just not good. I'm sorry, but it's not. So I just can't get, and if Ireland's not in, I have no interest anyway. So there you go. But look, we'll let you know if there are any more updates on this Harry Maguire saga. But it's not looking too good. He's not looking too good for the outs. And it looks like that's most of the deadwood that we were expecting to go may not go. And again, this is down to the poor management of previous regime. And some of that previous regime are working on transfers as well right now. It's a failure from top to bottom. And as I said, it's not going to get any better under these fucking American owners. So the sooner they piss off, the better. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. They're going to drag this out until they get what they want. But apparently, if you were to listen to the Cardiff chairman, apparently, it's going to be sold for $7 billion. But then he broke an embargo, which means then he'd be in trouble. So I don't even think that's even true. So don't be listening to any fake news reports out there. Look, at bottom line is, unless Fabrizio Romano or any tier one journalist comes out and says, here we go, deal done, Glazers are out, then don't believe it. It's as simple as that. Even some of those tier one journalists, as I said, have been, wrong when it comes to this takeover. So just be careful who you listen to. Don't get your hopes up, folks. Just do what I do. When it happens, it happens. There's nothing we could do. Even the fan protest now. Yeah, I'm glad, it's good that fans are still protesting, but it's a futile exercise because, they don't give a shit. They want the money, and as soon as they get what they want, then they'll live, and only then will they live. So we'll see what happens. But if there's any more developments on this Harry Maguire situation, I will obviously come back and do it. Don't forget, we are back on Saturday. So Saturday afternoon, early afternoon, we'll be doing Ten Hag's press conference for the Tottenham game. I like to do the press conferences on the day of the match, and then we'll be back then a half an hour before the match kicks off. So we'll be live at 5 o'clock on Saturday for Tottenham versus Manchester United. So that's at White Hart Lane, folks. So an away game. So come and join me for that, and we'll have that press conference. And in the meantime, if there are any more definite outs, definite ins, I'll come back and we will talk about it. Remember, I'm not like other channels out there. I know I like listening to channels that do all the transfer rumors and all of that, but for me personally on this channel, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just talk about when deal is done. That way then we could just talk about it and get it done and over with, because I think you do end up repeating yourself then, especially when if you're a Manchester United supporter, because you get linked to around 500 fucking players every fucking transfer window, you know. So there's no point. I like to deal in when I know it's gonna actually happen. So right, it looks like I'm gonna have to come back, folks, and do another stream because the club apparently have released a statement an hour ago. Why this isn't trending, but the club have released a statement in relation to Mason Greenwood. So we will be back in a few minutes. So I'm literally going to end this stream and come back because I think it's only fair that we give the Mason Greenwood topic its own video. So the club have released a statement over Mason Greenwood. We are going to come back now in a few minutes. So if you're subscribed to the channel, please just look. Please look out for it. It'll be literally up in a couple of minutes. And come and join us for that, and we'll talk briefly about Mason Greenwood. So the club have made a statement on Mason Greenwood. We will be back in a few minutes, but for now, thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on Harry Maguire. Do you think he will actually leave by the end of the transfer window? Do you think it'll be a deadline day signing? Maybe he will decide to go on deadline day. Let me know, guys, what you think about Harry Maguire. We'll be back in a few minutes, as I said, to talk about that Mason Greenwood statement from Manchester United. So thank you for joining me. See you later, folks. Have a good one. This has been Noel the Red Devil. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Bye-bye.